these kids were students of mine in the prior session, and then they cooked for me in the next session, and they were a great group of kids, and they just, every time I walked in the dining room, in the kitchen, they'd go, "Yay, Miss Bootsy." And if I had a camera, it was especially showy. So, do they make you feel good?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That just makes you feel good when somebody comes, like, you all have parents or have had parents in your life, right? What's the best feeling in the world? What's the best feeling in the world that you get from your parents? I know you get it, Nicole.
When you make them happy.
Yeah, when they see you and their face just lights up, right? Just because you're you, not because you did anything good, bad, or indifferent, but that light, that, you know, who doesn't like to see that? Just pure joy.
It's almost like when I went to go pick up my parents, they went to Florida, and I went to pick them up from the airport, and it was just like that excitement, like back and forth, and like I just love that. Like when you go to pick somebody up, and they're like, "I'm so excited to see you," and I'm like, "I'm excited to see you too."
Yeah, it's just genuine, and it's one of those things, that's the look, you can almost tell who, when you see somebody with their kids, you can almost tell. Like that, I can remember coming home from school and walking into the kitchen, and my mother just having that look on her face, and I always just made me feel like the most special person. Looks can do that so much, you know? This is Brian. He was pincing bread for the first time. How do you think he was feeling?
He was nervous.
A little nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah? What does his body language tell you other than that his hands are in the wrong place? He was really uncomfortable, right? He started to kind of shrink into himself, and you can see that. You can almost feel the sweat running down his face. And he, unfortunately, Brian was a great kid and really, really brilliant, but not comfortable in the front of the house at all. This is Zach, and Zach is the man. What do you think?
He looks very comfortable.
Yeah, he was actually the maitre d' for the day, so he was in charge of the dining room. What was he doing? Yeah, it's exactly what he was doing. He was looking at Kevin and saying, "Good job, guy, good job." Right? He's really confident, kind of, you know, kind of cocky. But just a variety of things that you can see. So let's see where we are. Oh, so I have a video I want to show you about body language, hopefully.
Reading body language. Selling is about connecting with the other person, and many times people communicate without ever saying a word. Hi, I'm Kevin Graham. I'm Managing Director at Empowered Sales Training. Let's talk a little bit about body language and reading body language. Keep in mind that I may have my arms folded because I'm cold, not because you're making me clam up. And many times it's not about what they're doing, but how they transition from one thing to another. Let's talk about touching the ear. This typically means they want to hear more, so continue on with what you're saying. How about fiddling with the hair? This kind of means it's beyond them, and they're like, whatever. How about scratching the head? This typically means you're perplexing the individual, and you need to be careful to make sure they connect and understand with what you're saying, because the next one, rubbing the neck, literally means you're getting them hot under the collar, and you're starting to annoy them. Have you ever seen the hand over the mouth? Many times people will be talking and put their hand over their mouth as if they're physically restraining themselves from saying something. And indeed, that's what's happening. They're about to say something that they're going to let slip, but they put their hand over their mouth. That many times is a good time to ask an open-ended question and get them to open up a little bit more. How about the touching of the nose? This typically means they're uncomfortable about something, or maybe even lying. You'll see talk show hosts do this all the time. As they start their new show, typically they'll do their monologue, and then at some point they'll say, "We've got a really great show for you today." Watch how many times their arm starts to go to their nose, and they stop it here consciously. That's because maybe at that night, they're not that impressed with the show. They're not sure it's going to be such a good show. How about rubbing of the hands? This typically means I'm wringing my hands. I want nothing to do with it. Sometimes it's out of guilt. It's on to another person. Blinking or any change in eye movements typically means you're talking about a topic that makes the other person very uncomfortable and perhaps lying. And the last one I'll share in this video is steepling. Steepling is when you put your fingertips together to form like a steeple. This typically means a sign of superiority, because the reality is you can't do this unless you're extremely comfortable and confident. So anytime someone's steepling with you, it typically means they feel they're in the driver's seat. I hope this lesson in reading body language is helpful to you in your sales journey. Contact us today at empoweredSalesTraining.com.
What do you think? Interesting, huh? It's all these little nuances. Now, do I expect that by the end of this unit, you're going to be able to walk into a restaurant or to decipher and dissect every single person that you come in contact with? No. But I expect that you'll have a better grasp of how to read people. So let me ask you a question. In South Korea, there's different signals for different things. Can you give me an example of one that would be different from one that we use? Or Hazel, if you want to answer.
You can't not straight look into the person who is older than, like, it's kind of rude. So I didn't watch my teacher's eyes like straight through, because they're going to say, why are you like staring at me? They're going to yell.
That's a very important thing to know.
Only for friends. It's the same age. It's older person.
You would never wave to an older person.
You have
Okay.
to bow to the
Those are really interesting things to know, especially as a teacher. Here, we have so many students from Korea. To know that they're taught not to look in your eyes when you think they're just maybe not understanding you or avoiding you, that's a really key thing to know, right? Good thing to know. So all of these things have something to do with customer service, right? What does customer service smell like? What does it smell like? We hope it smells like roses, but sometimes you're going to get next to people. Maybe you're in a restaurant that's international. They might have a body odor that's going to offend you. You can't let that show on your face, right? You can't go, you have to. We used to. There was a guy that came into the restaurant that we called Smelly Crying Guy. He had the worst body odor ever, but you had to wait on him, and it just was awful, right? What does it taste like?
What it smells like.
It should taste, hopefully, fresh and minty, right? Do you want to walk up to a table and talk to a guest and have dragon breath? No, you don't want. You want to taste clean and fresh. You want them to be able to smell your fresh breath, right? We touch, we see, we know, we sense, because we can feel people's reaction to us. So we use all 5 senses when we're doing customer service, right? Okay, let's go. A little bit. We get a couple more of these. Here we go. How's this guy feeling? His lips are tight, his eyes are narrow. Do that and tell me how you feel. Yeah? What do you think he's mad about?
Somebody screwed up.
Somebody burnt his chicken or cooked it raw. How about this one? And in math class, I took this picture, and look at that face. Right? Her cheeks are raised, her eyes are wrinkled. She's got a great full smile on. How's she feeling?
Love it, man.
I'm gonna bet she just did her module. What do you think? All right. How about this one? His mouth's all wrinkled up, his head's tilted to the side. Do it, and see how you feel.
Confused.
not understanding or
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's confused. I don't know. Right? All right. How about this one? Eyes up, hands open. Do it.
give up.
I'm frustrated. I just can't do it anymore. Right? How many times have you done that? When you're taking a test, you're just like, I can't do it anymore. Right? All right. We all know Simon Cowell, right? He's famous for this. What is that?
That's the get off the stage, you're boring now.
You're boring it? Yes. He's rolling his eyes, he's got his head tilted to the side. Do it and tell me how it feels.
Like you're aggravated.
Yeah, I
Your
have no
performance is
use
awful.
for you, right? I'm contemptible, you're